1. Rick Ware Racing faces legal hurdles in charter sale. Judge's warning. 2. NASCAR charter war explodes. Legacy Motor Club sues TJ Puchyr over Rick Ware Racing deal. 1. Rick Ware Racing faces legal hurdles in charter sale. Judge's warning. A judge warns Rick Ware Racing to slow down on potential charter sale. Could a high-stakes legal battle in NASCAR take an unexpected turn? That's the question looming over Rick Ware Racing as a Charlotte judge issued a stern warning about the potential sale of its charter agreements, while a contentious lawsuit is still unresolved. The implications could be massive, not just for the teams involved, but for the sport as a whole. But here's where it gets even more complicated. The sale could directly contradict statements made in court. In a hearing on Monday, Superior Court Judge Daniel A. Cunard expressed serious concerns about the possibility of Rick Ware Racing selling its 2 charter agreements. These agreements are at the heart of an ongoing legal dispute with Legacy Motor Club, which claims that Rick Ware Racing reneged on a signed contract to sell one of the charters. Judge Cunard warned that such a sale could have really serious ramifications, especially since Rick Ware Racing had previously assured the court that no such transaction was planned. ####The legal battle. Legacy Motor Club versus Rick Ware Racing. Legacy Motor Club, co-owned by NASCAR legend Jimmy Johnson, filed a lawsuit in April accusing Rick Ware Racing of backing out of a deal to sell a charter agreement. In response, Rick Ware Racing filed counterclaims, alleging that Legacy was attempting to acquire a different charter than the one originally agreed upon. Rick Ware Racing has maintained that selling the charter in question would have made it impossible for the team to continue competing, and owner Rick Ware has publicly stated he has no intention of selling the business. However, recent developments suggest otherwise. Reports indicate that Rick Ware Racing has agreed to sell the company to TJ Puchyr, a co-founder of Spire Motorsports who was involved in negotiating the original charter deal with Legacy. This revelation has raised alarms for Legacy, which fears the sale could render its lawsuit moot and leave it without the opportunity to claim ownership of the charter. ####, a clash of statements and actions. Legacy's legal team has accused Rick Ware Racing of acting in bad faith. To the extent that Rick Ware Racing is right now behind the scenes trying to cut another deal, it's really troubling and potentially gives rise to additional claims, said Keith Forst, counsel for Legacy. Forst also noted that Puchyr had reportedly been in discussions with Legacy's sponsors about the potential purchase, further complicating the situation. Adding to the controversy, Legacy has argued in court filings that the rumored sale contradicts Rick Ware Racing's previous assurances to the court. If the sale goes through, it could result in both of Rick Ware Racing's charters being transferred, effectively dissolving the team. The deal Mr. Puchyr announced has potentially case-ending implications, Legacy stated in a recent filing. Based on the announcement, it appears RWR's charters will be transferred to an individual who has publicly declared that Legacy will not receive either one. ###, the push for answers. Legacy is now seeking a deposition from a representative of Rick Ware Racing to uncover details about the rumored sale. The team argues that this information is critical to determining whether it needs to request an emergency court order to block the transaction. Judge Cunard has sided with Legacy on the urgency of the matter, emphasizing the importance of getting to the facts quickly. If Mr. Puchyr is saying in public that Charter 27 and 36 have been sold or are in the process of being sold, that's a big deal, Cunard said, especially when there have been representations made to the court that there's no way this stuff is going to be sold. That's very troubling, I think, to any judge. Rick Ware Racing, however, has pushed back against Legacy's request for a rapid deposition, calling it unreasonable and unduly burdensome. The team's legal counsel, Brian Ralston, argued that preparing for multiple depositions on short notice would be impractical and inefficient. He requested that the deposition be delayed until the final week of July, but Judge Cunard was not persuaded. ###, what's next? The trial is scheduled to begin in January 2026, but the outcome of this week's deposition could significantly impact the case's trajectory. If the rumored sale proceeds, it could upend the entire legal battle and leave Legacy without the charter it claims to have purchased. ###, your thoughts? This case raises some intriguing questions about the ethics and legalities of charter sales in NASCAR. Should teams be allowed to negotiate sales while embroiled in legal disputes? And what does this mean for the future of smaller teams like Rick Ware Racing? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you side with Legacy Motor Club or Rick Ware Racing? Stay tuned for more updates as this high-stakes legal drama unfolds. For the latest on major trials and legal battles, subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Closing Arguments. 2. NASCAR charter war explodes. Legacy Motor Club sues TJ Puchyr over Rick Ware Racing deal. The NASCAR charter battle explodes. Legacy Motor Club accuses TJ Puchyr of betrayal in shocking new lawsuit. In what might be the most dramatic power struggle in recent NASCAR history, Legacy Motor Club has filed yet another lawsuit, this time targeting TJ Puchyr for what they're calling an underhanded attempt to purchase Rick Ware Racing right from under them. And here's the truly jaw-dropping part. Puchyr was reportedly working with Legacy before allegedly going behind their backs. The NASCAR garage area has transformed into something resembling a courthouse these days, with an astonishing 5 different lawsuits currently active regarding charter disputes. For those new to NASCAR's business structure, charters are essentially the franchise licenses that guarantee teams entry into races and a share of revenue, making them incredibly valuable assets worth millions of dollars in today's market. Legacy Motor Club finds itself entangled in 3 of these legal battles, either as the party filing suit or defending against claims. The saga began when Legacy sued Rick Ware Racing, RWR, claiming RWR had reneged on a signed agreement to sell them a charter for the 2026 season. RWR quickly responded with a countersuit, arguing that Legacy is attempting to acquire a different charter than what was originally specified in their agreement. But the plot thickened dramatically when the Associated Press reported that TJ Puchyr had entered into an agreement to purchase the entirety of Rick Ware Racing, not just a charter, but the complete organization. This development is particularly significant because it came after Judge Daniel A. Cunard had explicitly warned RWR they could face serious ramifications if they attempted to sell anything, especially after indicating in court they had no intentions to do so. The most shocking revelation, however, comes from Legacy's latest legal filing. The team disclosed that Puchyr wasn't just a random buyer entering the picture. He had been working directly with Legacy Motor Club through his consulting firm, Ruckus, under an independent contractor agreement. Even more damning, Legacy claims Puchyr had intimate knowledge of their purchase agreement with RWR because he actually helped broker the deal before making his own competing offer. In the lawsuit, Legacy doesn't mince words about what they view as a profound breach of trust. As part of that agreement, Mr. Puchyr was given access to confidential and sensitive business information so that he could promote Legacy and its principles in order to help Legacy secure sponsorship deals. Legacy trusted Mr. Puchyr. By engaging Mr. Puchyr, Legacy expected him to act with integrity and to refrain from actions that would undermine Legacy's operations, reputation, or competitive standing. It further expected Mr. Puchyr to avoid any conflicts of interest, disclose any circumstances that might compromise his impartiality, and comply with ethical standards that reinforce Legacy's trust in his services. The allegations get even more serious as Legacy accuses Puchyr of actively working behind the scenes to upend Legacy's deal with RWR. Perhaps most surprisingly, they claim he has openly and proudly boasted about his malfeasance, criticizing Legacy and its principles, while touting his underhanded attempt to strip Legacy of its bargain for right to charter from RWR. But here's where it gets personal and potentially explosive for NASCAR fans. Legacy alleges that Puchyr made direct, personal attacks against none other than 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmie Johnson, who serves as co-owner of Legacy Motor Club. According to court documents, Puchyr stated he didn't believe Johnson has all the facts, doesn't understand the deal we had, and accused the legendary driver of trying to humiliate Rick publicly. This multi-layered legal battle raises fundamental questions about loyalty, business ethics, and the increasingly complex world of NASCAR team ownership. With charter values skyrocketing in recent years, some estimates putting them at $40+ million each, the stakes couldn't be higher for all parties involved. The situation leaves NASCAR fans and industry insiders alike wondering, Is this simply aggressive business maneuvering in a competitive sport? Or has a line of professional ethics been crossed? If Puchyr did indeed use insider knowledge gained while working with Legacy to secure his own deal, should there be consequences beyond this lawsuit? And perhaps most importantly for the sport's future, does NASCAR need to create clearer regulations around charter transfers to prevent these kinds of disputes from continuing to overshadow the racing itself? Whether you side with Legacy's claims of betrayal or see this as just another chapter in the cutthroat business of motorsports, one thing is certain: this legal battle is far from over, and its resolution could reshape team ownership in NASCAR for years to come. Where do you stand on this controversial situation? Is Legacy justified in feeling betrayed, or is this simply business as usual in professional sports? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Related stories. A NASCAR calls out 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports for inappropriate legal motion in charter dispute. Rick Ware Racing dismisses LMC lawsuit as a misguided attempt to tarnish our reputation. Rick Ware Racing confirms agreement to sell to TJ Puchyr, who plans team expansion.